technology is today? Okay. So can you tell us your understanding of space technology that's used today?
Okay, space technology is technically, or like the more broad term, is the technology of entering, extracting information, and exploring space. That's all it is, and that's all it's ever been, but it has expanded so much more since the original start. Nowadays, space technology is used all the time. Like, you might be using it right now. If you got Bluetooth on, you're using space technology. So it's way more than just entering and leaving space, because the technology had found other purposes in our everyday lives. And yeah, that's basically it. So space technology deals with the power of the energy needed to fire off a rocket, the kinds of rocket emissions, like CO2 emissions, the kind of fuels that's used. It deals with extracting like the Canada arm. That's what Canada contributed to the ISS, the International Space Station, and other things such as like how astronauts survive in there, all the technology they use, like the computers they use, and the health monitoring systems.
All right. So Ravi went over it broadly, but not specifically. Society has found big use in technology that around 50 years ago hardly existed, and a lot of people could not use it at all because it was way too expensive. But in modern days, it's in everything we use: internet, cell phone, monitoring volcanoes. It's in our use and in use to keep us safe. So there are three things that I feel help a society be prosperous, and space technology is in direct correlation with all of them. So one of them is security of the nation or society, and space technology does this in several ways. It helps us predict weather, so we can prepare ourselves. It also satellites to there's satellites called that help defend the nation that separate nations fire out, which are called killer satellites, and they shoot down rockets that because a rocket goes out of the atmosphere and it can detect the rocket and shoot it down. Second is the economy has to be prosperous and be able to provide us with goods that will help us. And some of these are like cell phones, and which essentially has become a need along with internet. These have all become needs rather than wants, because our society today is so dependent, and so many jobs are created off these things. And the last is the expansion of our knowledge and what we know, because without this, we'd still be in the Stone Age. There would be no wheel without this. And this is in direct correlation with a lot of sciences, because space technology helps provide to astronomy, astrobiology, astrochemistry, astrophysics, etc. It also helps us predict in meteorology. Alright, so to continue with this, as you know, space technology has become very useful, but should we continue investing in it? You guys feel? But so some negative points that are a lot of the space technology has died, and most of the things we have right now are from the 1960s, and not so some positives are it expands our knowledge, innovation. It's going to get us to Mars one day, hopefully. The rovers which are launched help send back useful information to help us find out how the galaxy was created. Experimental use and theories, and satellites need to be repaired sometimes because they are constantly taking damage in the space. And so some negatives are that it takes millions and millions of dollars. Launches take, I think it was $700 million. Money can be spent more efficiently, but NASA just uses it for the wrong reasons. A lot of people feel that. That's just an opinion, though. And as Ravi will discuss further on, a lot of the innovations to daily uses of space technology have died off since the 1960s, because a lot of the were from the Apollo missions, and there's nothing new coming from it. So daily use.
I have a question. So you're saying that anything that, I also heard you say that you're also still using technologies from the 1960s, so.
Ravi is going to discuss it because a lot of the like sportswear, etc. is
Sportswear?
It's because of the technology that we needed to get to space. It has innovated things we use on the daily usage. So that's what he's going to talk.
Basically, that's one of the reasons why space is such a good program and fun, because, like I said, it is the final frontier. It is a new challenge, and like our bodies, right? Society will only change if it is challenged. Like if we did not try to reach space, right? Our society would probably be stuck at the technological position it's at right now because nothing needs to improve. Space has become a challenge, and getting there, surviving, exploring, all that kind of stuff, it's challenging us and improving our technology. If you go on NASA's website, you'll find that there's over 100 daily uses for space technology today. Some of the main ones are shown here. It's called NASA Dent. It's toothpaste that you can actually like digest, right, for people that have trouble spitting it out and like accidentally swallowing it, because that can cause problems. And in space, they can't really like, spit it out, right? So that's where it was invented. It was invented so astronauts could actually brush their teeth and just swallow it afterwards. It sounds disgusting, but it was also food.
That's quite an invention.
Okay, filtered water was started. It reached a new level in space research because water had to be really clean. They couldn't take risk of infection and bacterial growth. Scratch resistant glass. That's really important because they have a lot of equipment up there and they don't have any replacement material. Let's see, smoke detectors for when something happened wrong, like a fire was happening. And one of the really big inventions was de-icing, anti-icing material for aircrafts. That was a really big problem for rockets because some of them would freeze over. And nowadays it's used on most of the airplanes. A statistic went out saying that 500 million gallons of anti-icing material is used every year on airplanes. And this new material that uses ethyl instead of methanol, it is cheaper, it's more efficient, and uses up less. More inventions. Yeah, computers. Computers really skyrocketed after space. As Microsoft started in the 1960s, and so did this, the Apollo 11 program. And so about that mission, the processor that was used in the Mars mission to actually control the ship was 0.043 megahertz. That's the processing speed of it. Nowadays we're in the gigahertz, that's thousands, and this didn't even reach 1 megahertz. The programs they used to actually calculate the landing and the lifting off was 6 megahertz, which is, if you think about it, nothing. That's a music player nowadays times, and that's a light music. Liquid metal, memory foam, there's hundreds. There's many uses to these. You'll be able to list them all.
So all those products were first invented because of space applications and then marketed.
No, some of them were invented, some
They
of
were
them
there, but they weren't as efficient because for it to work in space, it has to be a game because they don't want anything to go wrong. So that just because you invent it, so why not just use it in everyday life if you can?
So a lot of it was innovation, but some of it was invented.
What are those golf clubs?
That was liquid metal. Like they could actually take metal up there and create molding out of it. So that's another topic I want to talk about, 3D printing. 3D printing is not as, like, it's still improving, but it's pretty amazing right now. Like, if you guys seen this picture of this mummy right here, do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's King Tut, one of the most famous mummies. You probably heard that name. And that's actually not his. That's not actually his body. That's a replication made by a 3D printer. So they basically put the mummy down and scanned it and did an exact replica, so they could actually like make contact with it, actually explore the body without damaging. Because King Tut was discovered in 1922, and so the body is really delicate, and it can't be experimented on to see what was in the body and all that other stuff. So they had to find a new technique, which was 3D printing. The new thing for 3D printing